We've got private label products now so that you guys can purchase those. We've got a lot of stuff up here, so if you guys want a deal on some of these products, let me know. We'll get them in your hands, and you guys can take them back home with you. So everybody, give me a good round of applause for Mr. Tom. Welcome here, Tom. How you enjoying NinjaCon?
So far, so good. Actually, learning some stuff I didn't know. And,
did you have some good food last night?
I did. That was a good dinner.
Nice. All right, cool. So, Tom, you are the sales director over at GreenFlow USA, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And can you give us a little bit about you? Like, give us your background.
Been in environmental equipment sales for almost 30 years. Was just about to retire from that, and I have a laser engraving business I started with my daughter during COVID. And then got a call from a high school buddy and said him and his brother had bought into this company, and they told me about the product, showed me how well it worked, and went to a trade show with them, and needed a sales director, and here I am.
Nice, nice.
It was enough to keep me out of going into retirement. That's how much I believed in it, and
I hear you.
How well it works.
We got his website up right now. Has anybody in here utilized GreenFlow's products at all? Okay, we got Blake, Reese, Hazen, Lewis, Patrick. No? Okay. All right. So you guys are in Awanda, South Carolina?
Yeah.
That's where the
just north of Charleston.
Just north of Charleston, the facility's down there. Talking to you last night, I was like, wow, man, this guy's had a long journey, a lot of information. He will talk to you for days because he knows so much about this stuff. Reese, you've utilized their product like on a dock, correct?
Yeah, docks, wood, primarily wood.
Okay.
And some hard surfaces like precast.
Patrick, didn't you have a customer that was allergic or fearful of sodium hypochlorite, and you guys had to utilize this product?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How'd that go?
It's great. It just became an alternative to using the sodium hypochlorite.
Yeah. So if you guys got consumers that are like a little hesitant about sodium hypochlorite, or maybe they've got a lot of like vegetation, plant vegetation,
this won't harm vegetation.
Middle of summer, you got the hydrangeas that are just busting out super blue, and you know that you're going to fry them if you put sodium hypochlorite on there. You can definitely utilize the products that he's going to show you guys today, so that it doesn't harm the plants, and it doesn't have a toxic smell at all.
No, it says it's odorless, but I slightly smell the peroxide. But the perfect instance, not long ago, we had somebody do a big house south of Charleston, and the woman had like 1,000 potted plants on a wraparound porch all the way around the house, and they had pergola on it, and obviously no SH, and she was not about to move all those plants, so they used our stuff on it. Didn't have to worry about killing anything.
Didn't kill anything.
Yeah.
Didn't harm them.
No.
Nothing at all.
I purposely sprayed sections of my grass when I started just to see what it would do.
So that's pretty important too. So you guys are utilizing certain chemicals to remove rust.
Yeah.
And so you ever notice how when you put that chemical on the edge of the concrete, it just burns the grass right there? Right?
Yeah.
Your product doesn't do that at all.
You might get some browning of the grass, but it doesn't kill it. It after the first rainfall, it turns green again. And that's depending upon the mixture you have, and a lot of that. I'll always be available to you guys if you are questioning a job or how much to use, because you can dilute this stuff for certain things depending upon what surface you're using it on, how bad the stain is, stuff like that. Shoot a picture, take a video, text me. And
so you're easily accessible.
Yeah, if I don't answer you right away, if I don't answer the call, just text me. I'm on a call or doing something, I'll get right back to you right away, because I know you're at a job site.
Yeah.
So.
How important is that to you guys, having access to somebody like this? Does that bring you guys some value? Yeah. Okay.
And I found that doing this for almost 2 years now, a little over a year and a half. The big part of my plan was the training. And that's why I'm here today, is because I've signed up distributors in Virginia that they are supposedly huge, hardly sell anything. Went to Chicago, signed up some guys, me and Jonathan, went up and trained them. And it was like 6 months ago, he's on like his 8th pallet of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, he almost has it pre-sold before he orders.
And you were talking to me about the pricing yesterday about like California, their sodium hypochlorite prices are what, eight and a half gallons?
A gallon.
A gallon? Okay.
So if you buy by the tote, our stuff's cheaper.
Yeah. Right.
And California, you know how they are with regulations on everything. This guy was literally cleaning. The guy I found this out from, he's in Southern Cal, and he was doing something at my old stomping grounds in Huntington Harbor, and everything's on the water. You know, it's all condos and houses right up on, they all have canals, and no SH allowed at all. You know, there's certain municipalities that, like you guys up in Greenville, they don't really like SH a lot. The town itself uses it.
So how easy is it to integrate your product into like our existing services? Because right now we're going out there and we're pressure washing. We're utilizing sodium hypochlorite. What's another chemical that we're using? Potassium hydroxide. Ugh. Who loves using that? Yeah, I mean it's retarded. I mean it's horrible, right? So how can these guys integrate your products that you guys were so awesome to help me private label for them? How can they integrate that into their normal day-to-day operations?
Basically, you know, I'm not going to say it's going to replace SH, although I have had certain companies that they went all green and they just use our stuff. You know, there's a few of them around, but it has its place in the market. Okay. You know, it's a little bit more expensive, but you justify the price by one, it's eco-friendly. You know, a lot of people are on that kick. Two,
well, it's important sometimes. Like Reese had that job over there in, was it in Isle of Palms, or that he had a dock that was over a body of water.
Yeah, the docks, like stuff like that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, this is literally the only thing out there that you can clean a dock with and let it go in the water, and you're not going to get fined.
Nobody's going to come knocking on your door.
Yeah, and
I don't know who was in the one time, but I think we were washing a dock or something, and we were using potassium hydroxide, and that stuff just bubbles up, man. And like somebody that all that stuff had started carrying down, man. Next thing we know, they were knocking on our freaking heads saying, "Hey, what's all this down here?" Right? Because they knew we were doing something, and it definitely wasn't reacting well.
Ironically,
downstream.
Somebody was nice enough to. It was a rental house of one of the owner's friends in his neighborhood up in McClellanville, and I used it as a demo site. I took my drone out, did before and after stuff, and that video I have, it's on there. And I'm out there spraying, and there was a guy about 4 houses up in this big, huge fishing boat. And next thing you know, I see this like probably 15-foot long by 12-inch high puddle of foam going down the intercoastal waterway.
Not good.
And about 10 minutes later, Department of Natural Resources pulled up on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
And it went under the dock that I was doing. And he pulled right up to me, and I just showed him the SDS and explained what I was doing and everything. And then I just said, follow the trail. And here's this guy up there cleaning his big fishing boat. And it was a steep fine.
Wow.
It was a very steep fine because the owner knew the guy, and he talked to him afterwards and found out what happened. So
I gotcha. So it's easy to integrate, right?
Yeah.
Your product's easy to use.
Yeah, and I'll part of what I do is help you guys, teach you how to sell it to customers. You know, so what was that?
Can you downstream it?
Some have tried. I'm not a big fan of that because you tend to overuse the product. I mean, my demos, I use a pump-up sprayer. My favorite apparatus is those distributors in Chicago I told you about. When we demoed them, we did an old amusement park that had a 75-year-old carousel with natural pigment paint on the horses. They were really worried about that. And then we did a playground, and we did a 1-to-1 ratio on that because they were worried about full strength, and it worked fine. And they ended up getting a contract for 11 of those amusement parks around Chicago. Then they got approached. We did a playground inside the park, and they showed that to the school district. And now they're working on a contract to do, I forget how many 100 playgrounds for the whole school district of Chicago.
So you're saying, from the sounds of it, it sounds like your product is safe indoors and outdoors.
Yeah.
So not only can you use this on a deck or dock, but you can use it inside.
Yeah, like SteriClean is one of my biggest customers. They're a hazmat cleanup company. They do everything from, actually the owner, Corey Chalmers, is the host of the show Hoarders. And we did a hoarder's house up in Pennsylvania. The woman had 40 or 60 cats. They had to clean the house out. They moved around. They gutted the house down to the studs. Still couldn't get rid of the smell.
Cat City.
And they used our Pro product. And they put an ionizer in there for 3 days and still couldn't get rid of the odor. The woman, she ordered a couple of gallons of Pro. I get a call from her. She sprayed it, went out to the car, made a phone call, went back in, and she came out and called me immediately. And it's like, the odor's gone.
Oh, wow.
And
60 kitties?
Yeah, yeah. So
60 cats.
this is like urine that had been saturated through the floor, into the studs and the flooring. SteriClean has used it for crime scene cleanups, and they do some, I mean, really nasty stuff.
Wow.
Blood out of floors. I've gotten, this stuff I'm going to give you guys, the Ultra, which I call the homeowner's version. It's basically a hard surface cleaner, but pet stains. I've gotten red wine out of a beige carpet with it.
That's a game changer.
It's great for your countertops and your kitchens, bathrooms, stuff like that.
So doesn't sound like there's many limitations at all from where you can utilize
No,
your
depending
product.
upon, we got the 3 different levels. The hard surface cleaner is 5% peroxide, and there's no accelerator. These little bottles are accelerator, and that you add to the Renew, which is just named the Ninja Ninja's cleaner. So this one would go with this. So it's one.
So this is level 1?
Level 1 would be the hard surface cleaner. There's no accelerator in that.
Okay.
So that's basically, you can get them in these bottles, and we can label them, put your label on these too.
Okay.
Those are kind of cool. You give them to the customer too,
Gotcha.
But we get gallon bottles for you here, and then the other 2, the cleaner is going to be your go-to. That's going to do 99% of your stuff. That's 7.5% peroxide. So this is 5. That's 7.5. The Pro is 17. That's like heavy duty. You got a really bad dumpster pad, or you're doing a hoarder's house with 60 cats, or.
Is there any services it's not safe for?
The only thing that you don't want to use it on is galvanized steel. Yeah. So, but anything else, if it's a painted surface or has a factory coating, like Decra metal roofs, if you look at their website, we're one of the only. I think there's 3 approved cleaners for that roof, and we're one of them.
Is that so? Are you guys finding that you're seeing, like, on these metal roofs, there's mold and mildew? Yeah. Okay.
You mold the middle, you get lichen, you get.
And sodium hypochlorite doesn't cut it. You end up sodium hypochlorite. You gotta put soap on it. Then you start brushing it, and it comes out somewhat okay, right? But you're saying your product, you apply it on there.
And a lot of guys that do roofs, they just spray it and leave it, and let the rain do the work.
Yep.
Or if you want that immediate gratification, you rinse it. If you have any leftover spots, like down south in Charleston, a lot of pine trees, you get any of those, just let the homeowner know. Give it a couple of rainfalls. If it doesn't go away, I'll come back and retreat it. I don't think I've had anybody have to go back and retreat it. It continues to keep working even after you rinse it, after you soft wash it, it'll continue working for weeks afterwards.
We noticed that.
Yeah, like when I did my driveway when I first started, I tried 3 different pads. The first one I did with a garden hose. Came clean, but still had some of the spots from the pine trees.
Right.
Second one, I used a little homeowner's electric pressure washer with a white tip on it, more like a water broom.
Right.
That allowed me to zoom in on those pine things, and that came perfectly clean first shot. Third one, we were getting a rainstorm that night, and I just sprayed it and left it. Within 3 weeks, you couldn't tell the difference between the 3 things. After a couple of rainfalls, my dumpsters, that you put out, my recycling and stuff, they were under pine trees and just a mess, and pollen. The pollen in Charleston, it's like everything turns yellow for a couple of weeks. I sprayed them, and probably almost a year. And every time it rained, it just rinsed them off, and they stayed clean.
That's incredible. That's crazy. Yeah. So what's the coverage area? So like 1 gallon, what
kind
of,
1 gallon,
what are we
and again, it depends upon surface and how porous it is and what type of surface it is. So you're doing a plastic playground, like the recycled beige plastic, big like a town park playground.
Right.
You're going to be able to cut this 1-to-1, and you're probably going to get about 400 square feet per gallon out of it. Okay. Average, you're looking at 200 to 250 square feet per gallon.
Per gallon.
Especially if you're doing something like cedar shake. That's obviously got a lot of organics in it. It's a lot more porous. The harder the surface, the less you use, and the more you can spread it out. And even the dilution ratio, you can dilute it down and stretch it out even further if you're doing something like a playground or epee wood, which is like has the consistency of concrete.
Are
Like
you guys?
I'm doing the rooftop bar of the Vendu Hotel in
wow.
Charleston.
Really?
And yeah, and their whole deck. It was funny. I demoed them a couple of weeks ago, and the regional manager was there, and I sprayed it, and it started turning red when, you know, and he's like, "Oh my God, your chemical, what's it doing to my roof?" And the general manager's like, "No, that's the color of the wood."
Wow.
And it was so dark and gray and dingy. They're getting fined $1,000 a day for underneath their bar. I mean, when he sent me pictures, I thought it was soot from a fire. That's how bad. It's all mixers and liquor.
Oh yeah.
And they just don't clean under
Wow.
and yeah, so they're getting fined $1,000 a day. So they're cleaning the bar with it, then they're gonna do the whole deck and the rooftop. And
So if you're out there spraying around the Vendu, right? It's a very heavily congested area. A lot of people walking around. Let's say we're on the outside of the Vendu, right?
Yeah.
So we're outside. We're trying to clean it up. There's some stains, this, that, and the other. And you got customers. It's like, I don't know, man. It's the weekend. Everybody's going out, right? People can walk through it.
yeah.
If it touches their skin, is it going to affect them?
Yeah, I mean, especially with the accelerator in it, the hard surface cleaner, not as much. It might turn your skin white a little bit, like peroxide, but
Right.
it goes away. But the stuff that you put the accelerator in, the accelerator can cause chemical burns.
Okay, so you definitely want to be careful around
you want to
people.
use gloves and goggles when you're mixing it.
Okay.
Be careful around, you know, getting it, you know, and mainly in people's eyes. I mean, it's not going to really affect it. Like, it's not going to bleach your clothes. If it, like I just got guys cleaning my roof once, and I made the mistake of walking outside in a black T-shirt.
Man.
It had white spots all over it. But
Blake, didn't you have a problem like that not too recently?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. We had a lady. She had a Louis V bag, Ralph Lauren coat. It's about $450 worth of stuff. She was working at the hotel that we were pressure washing, and she walks out the door directly under the ropes and just gets blasted.
yeah, see, I actually use the hard surface cleaner. I'll throw a cup of that in my laundry, like for my socks and stuff. Or the other night, I made nachos and I got salsa down the front of my shirt, and I just sprayed it, washed it off with water, and it came right out.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's, you know, so it depends upon which, you know, what you're using it on, you know. But like I said, the regular cleaner is going to be your go-to stuff. That's going to do like 99.9% of your jobs, you know, from docks to roofs, sidewalks. If you use a surface cleaner on a driveway, I've had multiple pressure washing guys tell me they can move that thing 3 times faster if they pre-treat with our stuff over SH.
Gotcha.
So they're getting the job done faster.
Okay. But it costs a little bit more.
Costs a little bit more.
But you get a better result.
You get better result, and it's going to last longer.
It's gonna last
So it's going to, you know, especially if you're dealing with mold. This originally came from the crawl space industry. The pro version is what our parent company is, Your Crawl Space, and they have a patent on how they encapsulate crawl spaces. So they go in with the pro the day before, a backpack sprayer with a 200-foot hose on it. They leave it at the door. It's battery operated. They climb in with their PPE gear, spray all the mold and mildew, and then the next day they come back and it's gone and they encapsulate.
So you can put this product on concrete,
Yep.
and you don't have to pressure wash it off,
No. If you,
and it'll clean the concrete.
if you just let the rain do its work. And depending on what part of the country you're in, you know, some places are rain, like Arizona, you know, tell people you need to rinse it, but
Who here has had problems recently with new concrete on new homes? Okay, Lewis, you take the sidewalk machines to it, and you got all these runs through it, right? And you can start looking at the concrete, and you see how like it's just crap. It's brittle.
the butter we call that,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
that
They
nice
don't-
smooth surface.
Yeah.
You pressure wash it. You know,
And
eventually.
then whose fault is that?
Like here's
Okay.
a good instance. You know Boone Hall Plantation, right? So they use it. So their cotton dock, they do 300 something weddings a year.
Oh yeah.
And their cotton dock has basically been pressure washed so many times, all that butter has gone off the top, and it's just aggregate and oyster shells.
Nasty.
And now they're using our stuff. They clean the slave quarters had green moss growing up every north face. And I explained to them, oh, it's patina. They're telling me it's patina, and I'm like, no, that's going to eat all the mortar out, and those 200-and-something-year-old buildings chimneys are going to fall down. And they ended up just spraying it and leaving it, and took about, with the really thick moss, sometimes it takes a week or two, but it'll turn brown, turn to powder, and just rinse away with rain.
Nice.
And
So it's super easy to use.
yeah, it's simple
Safe
to
for the
use.
environment.
Basically, I started saying before, my favorite applicator, the guys in Chicago, and literally I could show you a picture of this thing. Most of you guys probably have the equipment in your shop. It's a 5-gallon bucket lid with a 1 gallon per minute pump on it, a voltage regulator, and then you can hook up whatever power tool battery you have. DeWalt, you just put the receptacle on it. It's got a 20-foot hose with a wand and a J-tip on it. And I mean, our factory is 30 feet tall and it'll hit the roof.
Wow.
And that 1 gallon per minute is your perfect application. Like I was saying, downstreaming, you're using a pump that's 8 to 11 gallons per minute. You're no matter, unless you're like really good with that proportioner, you're going to end up overusing it, and then it's not cost effective.
Right.
So we're coming out, we have backpack sprayers that we sell. I personally like the little 5-gallon thing because besides these square containers, we have 5-gallon buckets we can sell you.
Okay.
And you just take that lid, pop it on, and go.
And then you can just go.
Yep.
Y'all
And
have a pre-designed one? Because I've actually been toying with that idea because I have a lot of applications where I need a pump spray, little hand pump sprayer is just not quick enough.
yeah.
I've been thinking about building a bucket and then having a pump on the bucket to siphon it out and put it.
I can show you a picture. I have pictures of it. You can buy it from the guys in Chicago. They sell them. They're not only a pressure washing company. They build like $100,000 trucks and rigs, and they're huge. They do everything from pressure washing to supplying. And they're a huge supplier. And he charges like $200 something for them, shipped. But
wow.
in all honesty,
Probably build it cheaper than that.
you could build it for less than $100 probably.
Okay, two questions. Does any of your products work well on cleaning battery acid residue?
No, but the chemist, Ron, the owner, is working on that. We've got a whole line of stuff coming up real soon here. Boat cleaners, bilge cleaner, little packet you throw down in the bilge and it dissipates all the oil and gasoline. You can pump it out. Barnacle cleaner that literally it blew my mind. You spray it on, let it sit for a half hour, you take a putty knife, and it doesn't damage the bottom paint, so you don't have to spend the money repainting the bottom of the boat. And it just scrapes right off.
They got a lot of good products. They got a lot of good knowledge on their stuff. I mean, these guys are just,
Yeah, we've got structure guard.
it's crazy what these guys know.
I don't know if you guys ever deal with new construction, and I meant to talk to you about this and I forgot, but we have products that are mold preventative. So say you have contacts with a contractor or a house builder, we've got stuff called structure guard that you spray on after they frame the house. It's got a 25-year mold warranty.
Wow.
So down south here, that's huge. And as long as they register it when you do it, and it comes in different colors so you can see where you sprayed it. I got stuff I sell to pallet companies. I got a company in Paraguay that does thousands of pallets for Chiquita banana.
So they have to clean those things off and
they clean them with the Renew, but then they spray them with this mold preventative, because what happens is when they ship them, if the pallets get any mold on them, they can't sell the food.
Ah.
So Chiquita treats all of these pallets, and I've got two different companies. There's one in the United States and one down in South America, and that's all they do is make pallets for Chiquita bananas.
Man, that's amazing.
Like thousands of them. And they just treat it with this. That lasts like 30 days. The structure guard lasts 25 years.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's crazy.
And
That is
Ron,
huge.
Ron, the chemist, I don't know, you met Ron, right? So have you seen our little environmental thing he's got in the warehouse there?
No, I haven't.
So next time you come, ask John to show you. So he's had that thing running for 12 years now. And he's got different projects in there, and it's just pumping humidity into it, and it's testing it on how fast mold. And he's got stuff in there that's been in there 10 years that hasn't grown mold on it yet.
Dang, that's crazy.
The second part of my question was, what about chewing gum residue?
Anything organic. That's what I tell everybody. Just think anything organic. This
Yeah.
stuff is going to clean up or lift up anything organic.
Mold or mildew, some
Mold,
kind of fungus,
mildew,
things of that nature.
food, pet stains, feces, urine,
Yep.
parking lot garages. You know how bad those stairwells are.
Yep.
Everybody pees in them after they get out of the bar. And
Yeah.
if you ever walked into any city in a parking lot and walked down the stairs, it's like, oh my God. Some of the elevators are like that too. But like at Boone Hall, for instance, when I clean the cotton dock, there's no air conditioning out there. So in the summer, when they have a wedding, those bathrooms get rank. And the owner noticed, I sprayed it, went back to the office. We took a ride back out in the golf cart. And the first thing we did is walked in the bathroom, and she saw how it cleaned all the stains up. And like, what else do you notice? And she's like, what? And I said, take a breath. And she's like, I don't smell urine. And it like within 20 minutes, it was gone.
Gone. Nice.
And I was using the Renew, the Safer Choice. So the Safer Choice, so the regular cleaner is the EPA Safer Choice cleaner. So that is got an EPA Safer Choice rating. It's approved for direct release over protected waterways. Basically, you want to use that anywhere where you're not allowed to use SH. Or potassium, so.
It's becoming more common.
Yeah,
There's more and more places that will not allow
like
you to utilize
Greenville,
it.
for instance, they're Green City, Rock Hill, Johns Island in South Carolina. I've got a few up north, and we just did a show out in Atlanta, and it was all municipalities from all over the country. And we even got Canada, Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. They're using it.
So what's
more and more municipalities are switching over to going green and not using SH within the city limits.
Is it for a specific reason? Are they afraid of sodium hypochlorite, or is it just like a fad that they're going through right now?
It's it's the eco-friendly green, going green, and it's becoming more and more common. A lot of corporations. I got a guy that just did a bid. He won on it's 300,000 square foot buildings.
3 of them?
3 of them. Yeah, it's huge facility.
Wow.
They had hired a company, said they wouldn't use SH, started the first building, the owners worked out, smelled bleach, fired them on the spot, and these guys won the contract.
Nice.
What's the shelf life?
Unmixed, before you put the accelerator in, about 3 years. Once you put the accelerator in, you get your peak performance is 8 to 24 hours. I've had some left over in my demo pump-up sprayer. I forgot about in my car, and a couple days later, I use it. But you want to make your wife happy? Bring a little bit home extra when you're done. Spray the shower. You'll never have to clean your shower. I'm a single guy. I don't like cleaning the bathroom. I haven't cleaned my shower in 2 years.
Nice.
It literally just cleans everything off, and I just rinse it off the next day.
So does it come in like 5 gallon?
Yeah, so we got 1 gallon, 5 gallon, 55 gallon drum, and 275 gallon totes. And obviously, the more you buy, the contractor pricing that we have with you guys right now basically requires a half a pallet purchase, which is either 6 cases of the 1 gallon bottles or 6 5 gallon jugs. But you can mix and match. Like if you want to get a couple of 5 gallon and different, pro or hard surface or the regular cleaner, we don't care if you mix or match as long as it adds up to a half a pallet. I give you contractor pricing.
So we could end up getting a 275 gallon tote and fill up our own buckets.
Yeah, and then you're looking, at less than a third of the cost of what you'd pay retail on Amazon. Amazon, you're paying $30 a gallon, 30 to 40. I think it just went up. I think it's 39 now.
What about corrosivity? Like how corrosive is it compared to like sodium hypochlorite?
It's not.
Okay.
So basically, the only thing you have to worry about is galvanized steel. You don't want to mix it in a metal container, and mainly that's because it gets, it gets hot.
Okay.
And once you put that accelerator in, you're going to feel it get warm when you mix it up. And the metal container, you just don't want it explosing.
Okay. So what about transportation? Let's say they got a gallon of that. And
Never mix it before you leave the shop.
Okay.
We've had guys to mix up 5 gallon drums of it, and then going down the highway, the lids started popping off.
Okay.
So mix it on site, and you only want to mix what you need too. You
Right.
don't want to mix too much because then you're wasting money. So.
So is it better to mix on site as opposed to
Yeah,
pre-mix?
yeah, and all you're doing is adding these little accelerators. You put one of these in per gallon.
Okay.
And if you
use the accelerator all the time?
the Micella, this is the magic sauce. This basically what this does is it raises the pH balance and gives you that really deep cleaning action.
That's why I was asking. I didn't know if you had to use it every time.
Yeah, I mean peroxide is it'll clean,
Yeah.
but that's like peroxide on steroids when you add that in. That's really what's going to get deep down and penetrate, especially if you're doing a rough surface like cedar shake or concrete.
So it doesn't mess up copper?
Nope. Nope. I just did a demo in where was it? North Carolina, and big surgeon's house, a huge property. He had entrances from 3 different neighborhoods. His property was so big, all copper gutters. And he had a tree come down on part of the house, so they had to replace some of them. So it was brand new copper, and he wanted to clean the rest of them. It'll take the patina off, but it's not gonna like make it look like polished copper. You have to actually polish it to do that, but it will take the green patina off of it and make it look like a weathered copper piece, but it's not gonna corrode it. Like I said, the only thing that I've run across where I know, and I tested it myself on a little galvanized trash can, it'll do some corrosion on galvanized steel. The only other incident I had was my next door neighbor sold his house. Knowing him, he probably had the cheapest indoor white paint possible, and he painted his gutters to spruce up the house. And then when somebody came in and pressure washed the house, they wanted to use our stuff. And it took the paint off the gutters because it wasn't a factory finish. Right. But on the other hand, Sherwin-Williams natural pigment paint. I had a guy in Virginia turn a blue house into a light gray house a couple months ago.
Who here's had that problem?
Cost him a $5,200 square foot paint job.
Years ago,
Yeah.
but the guy knew his paint was bad, so he didn't.
Well, it's an organic pigment.
Yeah,
paint
so
is
that's an
what it
organic
is.
pigment
so meaning
paint.
if you,
So
if
this
you,
will not harm that.
yeah.
If you have paint,
Who had the great idea about doing that?
uh,
Because I mean, if an organic pigment paint means it's organic. So when
Yeah.
you spray it, you take the pigment out. So then your house looks like an Easter egg. It's all speckled up, right? And the
You know,
homeowners never
not-
tell you. They never tell you, right?
But-
they want to know what happened to their house.
but you know, you guys.
so then you're making a trip to Sherwin-Williams and saying, "Hey, man, what'd y'all do to this lady's house?"
Yeah, but you guys you seem to be educated enough that you know no matter what you do a little test area first. You know,
Right.
even if I tell you, the first thing I'm going to tell you when you call me up and say, "Hey, can I use it on this?" is try a little small test area, an inconspicuous area, make sure that it doesn't do anything. If paint's chipped or cracked, if it has organics inside of that chip or crack, it's going to lift it out. It's because it's going to attack that organic. So
like copper, brass, when they oxidize and you get the runs on brick, driving, vinyl siding, this stuff should take it off.
yeah, you actually got a woman in Connecticut. She just does monuments in parks all over Connecticut. So she's doing monuments. We got people that do cemeteries. They clean headstones, and that's their whole business. And they go through, clean all the headstones up and just spray it and soft wash it. What was that?
Does it help with oxidation?
It does, but it takes a little bit of brushing, slight brushing.
Okay. Now, you had also talked to me about drones and cleaning with this product with drones.
Yeah.
Drones are like a new technology. They're up and coming. It's another thing that's coming through the pipeline. Has its benefits, has its detractors. What have you experienced with those drones and utilizing your product in conjunction with it?
So we, at a trade show in Phoenix, hooked up with a Pellex drone. There's actually another one, Lucid, I think, was there also, and approached me. But a Pellex kind of they were really aggressive and wanted to partner up with us. They're out of Jacksonville. They did a demo at the hotel. I got to fly the thing. It was amazing. It was like 6-7 feet across. Real easy to operate. A lot easier to operate than you'd think. Like those of you that have smaller drones that you do videography and stuff with, you move them and they're like, they slow the controls down. So you move that lever and it takes a couple of seconds for it to slowly move. I mean, he was hitting the balcony, like the floor of the balcony without like getting it, anywhere else. We cleaned the Hilton sign, but they ended up partnering up with us. He built a rig underneath the landing gear with a 5-gallon container, separate wand with a DS twist tip on it from X-Jet, and they get a 10-12 foot spray pattern.
Wow.
So they're doing a hotel a lot faster, spraying it with this stuff and then just going back and soft wash and so basically they can spray a whole side of the building and then, depending upon their battery life, either land and put a new battery in or if they have time, go back. And he's got the hose hooked up to the pressure washer and then they just soft wash the side of it. I mean, the dock I did took me with a pump up sprayer a couple of days, but the whole process, they can literally do a dock in one swipe.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so it just speeds things up. They're very expensive, but
Who here's utilized a drone or had seen other companies utilizing drones? Hazen has?
I've seen them here and there, but we have certain restrictions in Virginia Beach where you can't fly.
yeah, that's the other thing is,
So
yeah,
there's some-
you got the
Yeah.
military bases there, so, but see, I got my drone license, so you may be able to get around it just because you're not going up that high.
Well, I'm saying like hotels and
Yeah.
stuff. That's,
Right.
that's where
Yeah.
there's certain fly zones, they don't want drones at all.
Yeah.
In Virginia Beach,
Yeah.
because of Oceana.
The Oceana, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, if you're at a military base then, or an airport, it can be a little tough, but water tower townships, a lot of corporations that went green, and, and when you think about it, between the labor you're paying the guys to, do that, where you can literally do this yourself if you wanted to, the fact that you can do 10, 15 foot swipes at once and get in and out of there that much faster. Like when I saw the price of these things, like a Pelix, one of their drones is $65,000. And I was like, oh my God, who the hell would use this, But then he explained to me, he goes, no, you do a couple apartment complexes or 1 or 2 skyscrapers, or high-rise buildings, that thing's paid for. And there's a guy in Charleston has one I hooked up with. Yeah, and yeah, so it's definitely an up and coming thing. These guys were super pumped to hook up with us. They had requests for an eco-friendly cleaner just because of that reason. A lot of these buildings, they did.
Those are in like heavily trafficked areas.
Yeah, they
right?
did Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta.
Blake and I were talking about this the other day. He's got a building downtown Raleigh. He's got to do the side of a building, right? And I told him, well, how are you going to close off the sidewalks? Think about it. He's going to be dropping off the side of a building, spraying a sodium hypochlorite, right? Okay. And then where's it going to go? What if he does it on a windy day?
Every car underneath you.
How many people do you think are going to be calling that hotel looking for that man? How fast do you think the cops are going to come out there and be like, hey man, I'm going to put you in handcuffs if you don't stop?
Pretty quick.
Pretty fast.
Where I've actually used this to clean cars that were sitting under a pine tree for 3 years.
Right.
Nah, I didn't even know it had hail damage until I cleaned it with this stuff, and then I saw all the little dings in it because they couldn't tell it was so dirty.
So you've got the cost of a drone versus the cost of an employee. $65,000, no big deal. You're going to pay an employee $65,000 with all your taxes and insurance and all that stuff, right? So if you get a drone and you utilize that technology in conjunction with some of these chemicals, some other chemicals like our local pressure washing service equipment providers provide us, right? You have other options. So drones, you don't want to disengage from that information. You're definitely going to want to learn more about that. It can definitely be a game changer for you. It can save you some time, save you some revenue in the long haul, right?
Insurance.
But in conjunction,
Instead of a guy hanging from a rope off the top of the building.
You just got some liability insurance if
Yeah.
the drone crashes into the side of a building and breaks a window.
And I got to
And
tell
then
you,
and then you're also utilizing these eco-friendly chemicals, right, that aren't as toxic, and it gives you more expansion as to where you can utilize this product without having to worry so much about the customers or the people that are walking or going to be around it. How many people have been washing a building, pressure washing a building, sodium hypochlorite, go around the corner, you're not thinking anybody's, you just kind of try to go around the corner, you're walking and bam, you hit somebody. Or their chemicals gotten on them.
Oh, I've had people walk in my caution tape.
Oh, you got it, okay, right? What kind of hornet's nest does that create for you? Oh, I mean, it's crazy, right? You're in a fight, right? And it's going to cost you time and it's going to cost you money. So the reason why we're talking about these eco-friendly chemicals is because, yes, they are becoming more popular. They are important. It can get you out of a pickle, okay, before you even get yourself into a pickle, right? Okay, and we talked about that. I still want to know, how are you going to do that whole building on that side with people walking underneath of it? Think about how much time and energy he would have to go to just basically drape this whole building off, just so he doesn't get any chemicals anywhere, okay? And we're talking downtown Raleigh, right?
That's a busy street.
So how is he going to do this job?
Double his price and start using the correct chemical.
Yeah, right. But so double the price, but then the building owner and the hotel who's probably renting that building, if they don't own that building, both those people don't have to be liable for the people that are coming underneath there and getting all those phone calls because you either got some sodium hypochlorite in somebody's eye, ruined their entire clothing, maybe got it on their baby, right? Okay? And then you ain't gonna have the cops coming knocking on your door either and saying, hey buddy, me and you are gonna make a trip downtown, around the corner.
Or a paint job on a car.
Okay, so these products can be very beneficial, and I've used these. Who else? Reese has used it. Lewis, have you used these? They're very easy to use. Do the guys like them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do they smell?
No, the rinse application was like the nice part. With sodium hypochlorite, or with like potassium hydroxide, sometimes you kind of have to, I call it like an intricate rinse, where you're like following the board line. Even if you use low pressure, you're going to follow the grain of the wood and all that. With this, you just rinse it, splash some water on it, it's clean now.
On these larger buildings, drones could be done, right? But you're still, if you're using a drone and spray sodium hypochlorite, it's
Yeah,
getting
it's gonna
everywhere,
go
man,
everywhere, yeah.
right? Okay, you're using a drone and you're using a product like this, it's an advantage to the building owner or the property owner, right? Because then they can entrust that, hey, if I spend just a little bit more, I can alleviate all of these other headaches that are gonna come along the way. I promise you, if JJ, if you're out there pressure washing somebody's building and you get one of their customers bleached with, just drenched in bleach, okay? That customer isn't gonna be just unhappy with you. They're like, hey, who did it, right? But who are they going to first? They're going to that manager. That manager now has an irate person that's not even his customer. They leave him a 1-star review. And then they tell 15 friends, right? See how it just really morphs and it becomes an expensive problem on the other side? So now you gotta look at it and say, okay, cool. Mr. Hotel Manager, yeah, you can get this building washed for about $5,000. But for a little bit more, I can take a whole lot of headaches off of your plate. If we spend $7,500 and do it, it's an eco-friendly way. It's going to be a better result. It's not going to harm any customers. It's not going to put you out of business having to completely block off an entryway. Doesn't that sound like a better deal to you?
So in this particular instance, if we were using that product, we would not have to go through that whole intricate process of blocking everything off.
Yeah, no.
You still want to let people know, hey, we're spraying some stuff up here, right? But they go around, right? And it's not that big of a deal, right? Put somebody
Yeah,
on,
yeah, you're
put somebody
obviously
on the
gonna
corner
take- yeah,
with an
say-
umbrella and just walk them through the entryway, right? Because it doesn't matter if that chemical gets on anything because it's not going to hurt the person. It's not going to harm
A
their
good,
clothing.
for
It's just
instance,
not gonna
that
do any of
amusement park we cleaned, the owner, the best thing in his eyes was that, okay, when we use SH and we clean, each attraction or whatever, they got to close down for the day. So he's losing revenue for the entire day because he's got SH on an attraction and he's got to make sure it's clean before kids go in it. Where our stuff, literally, they can come in before hours, spray that attraction, rinse it off, and let it dry, and then let the kids go at it. He doesn't have to shut down for the day.
This is a really, really good product. Okay, if you guys utilize it in the right way. Now you got to utilize it, right? I'm giving you information now. You got to utilize that information. If you utilize his product in the right way, you can definitely generate more money, more profits, less people in a safer way that benefits you and it benefits your customer. Okay, and see, I'm solving 2 problems now. See how I'm doing that? And if you guys learn that and understand that how these products work and how much they benefit you, man, you're going to want to go ahead and start buying these things. How easy is it for them to buy those products?
Basically, give me a call. I like to do the sales myself because I ask what you're using it on and can recommend things for you because I found by testing so many things myself. Like I did a boat ramp that we had Beaufort County did a show down there, and the guy comes up to me and he shows me, he's from Parks and Rec or something, a picture of a pickup truck, and it was like the headlights and the top of the hood sticking out of the water and the boat floating behind it. He tried to pull it out at low tide with all the algae on the ramp.
Yep.
And the boat was heavier than the truck.
And there's all kinds
Pulled
of
them in. I sprayed a boat ramp, left it, let the tide do the work, came back a week later, and it stayed bare concrete for a year.
I was going to say, we put it on our...
It even got, those of you who know what pluff mud are, it even got underneath the pluff mud. So at the bottom of the ramp, there was like a 3-foot taper of pluff mud at low tide. Mm-hmm. It got under the pluff mud, released that. Now there's a 5-inch wall of the mud right at low tide.
Wow.
So it cleaned everything on that ramp, and I did not even rinse it.
Yep.
I let the tide do the work.
I put some on teak furniture that had lichen on it.
You showed me that. That was what you used?
Ice, yeah.
Oh,
Ice.
man.
I've been experimenting with this a lot. I
Yeah.
love this product.
So now we've got, sorry, we're running a little bit late. So, and Tom's going to do a demo outside, and Kim's going to do a demo outside as well with the gutter vac. I really want you guys to see that stuff, and I want you to see this process with these chemicals. But man, I'm trying to open up your eyes to this stuff, right? Okay, we don't want to say, hey, listen, we've been doing the same system, the same way for the past however many years, right? There's always new and cutting edge products that are coming through that can definitely benefit you, but as long as you be in front of it, right? I've talked to you guys about the videos. What do you got to do? Got to get in front of it, right? Okay, how many videos do you need to give me every single day now? Is it 1 or is it 100? Right? Because in 4 years, what's going to happen? Right? And now you're number 1 and nobody can ever catch you. Same thing with these products. The reason why I'm private labeling these is because it's important for all of us as a community of franchisees to benefit from the branding of the name, utilizing eco-friendly chemicals, getting it from a source that's in our backyard, and he can ship it to you quickly, easily, and I don't have to have my hands in it, right? Do I mark up this product? If he buys it, am I getting any money on it?
Not that I know of.
Who wins?
I'm giving you a discount, basically.
Do you win? Do you win? If you buy it, right? And I don't get anything.
And if
right?
you'd if you're doing that building, I could ship it right to that building. Like you needed a tote to do the building instead of taking it to your facility and have to transport it. We can ship it directly to that building's loading dock, and we can do liftgate delivery, or if they have a forklift or a loading dock, we can ship directly there.
How accessible are you? How easy can these guys get around?
Like the gentleman earlier said, I got customers in California. I got a guy in New Zealand now wants to be a distributor.
But how can Blake
I am up at 3 in the morning sometimes talking
Can
to
Blake call you and say, hey, I need 5 gallons of this stuff?
Yeah, and it'll go out that day or the next day.
Okay.
You guys are all pretty close. Who's the furthest guy away here?
Nashville.
Nashville? Yeah, you're
Greenville.
looking like 2 days, not 2 days tops.
Can he go online? Do you have a website?
We do, but you're going to save money going through me.
Bingo. Okay, cool.
And I want the credit.
Listen, I'm here to give
I got to
you...
show my boss I got the sales. So,
We
no,
wanna-
you're going to pay more on Amazon and even on our website.
But Amazon doesn't have our private label on there.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
No, Amazon, you're
And
going
we
to
get-
get the Green Ox label, and same thing through the website.
Right.
Private label stuff. Call me, order up. I know it's Window Ninja.
When you show up
it's
to
going to go
somebody's
out
house
with your label
and you
on
have
it.
a product like that they know and they can trust, and it's got our name on it, man, it resonates with them.
It's
That's
another
why
tool
we're
for your
doing it.
arsenal. Like I said,
Yes.
it's not going to replace SH, but it's another tool for your arsenal. It's something that's becoming more and more popular.
You got to give customers options.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. You got to give them options.
Like
right?
my neighbor, when they moved in, she had allergies. She didn't want bleach, no. And the guy that they originally hired said, I don't have an option, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
when I met them, I went over and introduced myself, and they told me about it. I said, hold my beer. And I went and got my pump up sprayer, and I just did a little section of their garage and their driveway. And they're like, can you find somebody to do this for us? Sorry, I didn't know you at the time, or I would have called you. But
Well, look, you go get your pump sprayer. You go outside and start spraying some of these sidewalks and let them see exactly what it's going to do. Okay,
Yeah.
We're going to be here tomorrow for about half a day. I promise you, when he goes out there and sprays it, it's going to get clean, and tomorrow it's going to look even cleaner. Okay, we're going to break for lunch.
well, I'd like to show people like when I spray it, just because you see the bubbling action, and I
Yeah.
can explain it. And it doesn't take long. Dwell time, you're only looking, depending upon the surface, again, how hard it is, anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, hey, let's go look. We're going to get some lunch. Melissa's bringing that stuff in here. And Tom will talk to you guys more about it. Get with him one-on-one, okay? And if you guys want to go ahead and take some of this stuff home with you, if you
I
can.
actually got bottles
there's
of the
plenty it
Ultra
that you
for
guys can
everybody
take,
here.
Okay? All right.